Okay, well, we are official and we are in open session. We'll start. We do have an open session item, which I'll go to others in a moment, but we do have a first here, a presentation of Vietnam Memorial is what it says on our agenda anyway, from Bill Shea. You want to just make sure Bill's there and make him a panelist?
I have asked him to unmute. Let me just give him a moment to see if it won't reconnect now.
Okay. So let's see, host has promoted you to a panelist. Am I on?
You are.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for inviting me into the meeting this evening. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Committee. First of all, a bit about the genesis of it. And that would be several months ago, Ryan reached out looking for volunteers to establish a committee. He was looking for 7 individuals. We have 7 that have volunteered. All 7 of those individuals are on the agenda this evening for nomination to serve on the committee. A little bit about the background of Hubbardston and its patriotism. We had a informal meeting on the Common last week of the committee, and Laurie Reed attended also. And Hubbardston has always shown its appreciation to our veteran community, and Hubbardston citizens have always responded to the call. Going back to the Civil War, my information is based on the 1881 and the 1976 versions of the Hubbardston history, but we'll still call it unofficial. In the Civil War, 144 veterans either volunteered or were drafted or weren't able to pay the substitution fee. And that's of a population of less than 1,500 people. So if you think about it, 144 more or less answered the call. We lost 44 Hubbardston citizens in the Civil War, not all from battle wounds, but from a number of other reasons associated with casualties in the Civil War. I'm a retired history teacher, so I've done a lot of research about that. And the citizens responded by putting up a very fine memorial to our veterans in 1884. In the Pan Am War, Hubbardston sent 8 volunteers off to serve our country, and thankfully there were no casualties. In World War I, we had 48 volunteers, including 7 merchant Marines, who served from Hubbardston once again with a population under 1,500, and we had 3 that were killed in action. The citizens once again responded, and there's a very fine memorial on the Common that combines our participation in the Spanish-American War and World War I. In World War II, we had 146 individuals who served our country. We had 11 that were killed in action. A very high toll for a small town like ours. And once again, the citizens responded, and there is also a very nice memorial to our World War II veterans, and a second memorial that's across the street right in front of the school. And in Korea, we had 16 individuals that served from Hubbardston, and fortunately, once again, no casualties. Vietnam. My figures are based on one of our volunteers, Steve Meager. He presented me with a list of 35 veterans, residents of Hubbardston at the time, and 14 of whom served in country. So, and 4 of those, by the way, have already passed away. So many years have passed since the Vietnam era is over, and yet we have no memorial for these men and women who served. So this was our goal, to make sure that we commemorate in a fashion that is a nice tribute to them serving. So we have now gathered 7 individuals. We've had 1 meeting, and we've established some guidelines and some goals. And the goals are that we will have the funding in place by Veterans Day of this year, and we will dedicate this memorial by Memorial Day of 2022. That is our goal. And I believe that we can attain that. We have talked about a number of different ways to outreach. We are waiting for a proper definition of what is a Vietnam era veteran. And having served as a veterans counselor for the Department of Employment and Training back in the 1970s myself, there was a definition. There is a state definition, there's a federal definition. So one of our volunteers is Sarah Wyman, who is our Veterans Service Officer. And I've asked her to get me a definition, because we want to be sure that we are all inclusive for this memorial. We know for a fact that our veterans were not properly welcomed home after Vietnam, and so we'll make a very concerted effort. Tom Collier, Steve Meager, and Bill Whitcomb are all in-country Vietnam veterans, and they make up a good composite of our committee. So I'm asking you this evening to approve their nominations, and also to allow us to put up the memorial in the common. The area that we've sort of designated is next to the Civil War Memorial. If you were standing and looking across at our common, you have your Civil War Memorial. And to the left of that, about 60 feet away, is the Spanish-American War and World War I combined memorial. So it's someplace in between those two that we feel would be appropriate. Of course, we're in the very preliminary stages of design, but we're all in concurrence with that the memorial should be appropriate, but it will probably be about the same size and height of the World War I and the World War II and the Spanish-American. Am I still signed in?
Yes.
Okay, because it just said signed out. So, but as long as you can still see me, that's fine. The current Span-Am World War I and World War II memorials on the common are approximately 9.5 feet long by 5 feet high. So that is basically what we're going to be aiming for. Of course, we will need funding. Sarah Wyman has told us that there is matching funds up to $20,000 that are available. I believe it's through the VA, but it might be the state. I reached out again to get that clarified, but I haven't heard back from her. So at this point, I am wide open to any questions you may have or any commentary regarding what we're looking to do.
Well, thanks for coming in, Bill. That was a great presentation and history of how the town has taken responsibility for what our veterans have given to us over the years. In a few minutes, we'll go into a sort of formal discussion on motions to approve this and whatnot. But a couple of things I just want to say on it is besides that is I think it's a great time for it, right? We're going to be starting the town center reconstruction project early 2022, and aligns very well with what the intent of that. One of the intents of that is bringing people onto the common in a safer way that they want to come out here. So having something else to have out there commemorative like that is I think going to work out great. One thing we'll want to see, which I know you're gonna want to see yourselves and whatnot, but eventually I'm sure there's going to be some sort of a, I know you just went over some of the details and schematics, but, you know, sort of a siting plan, you know, further detailing what you had out there, I'm sure is something that would be interesting to have our comments on, you know, when the time comes. But, you know, sort of other than
Absolutely.
that,
Mhm.
yeah. So sort of other than that, sounds like a great idea. I'm glad you guys have mobilized so quickly on this. And if you need anything from us, you know, please let us know.
Thank you, Dan.
I'd like to ask Bill a question. Jeff Williams, Bill, very much supportive of this. And what are you planning on in terms of the design? Are you putting it out as a contest, or who's going to be designing it, or have you even got that in mind?
Yeah, one of our members, Ed Blanchard, has some experience working with monuments and with memorials and granite and so on and so forth. But we certainly are in the very preliminary stages of that. One of the things that we want to include for sure is a term that is very familiar to all Vietnam veterans, and that is welcome home. The second thing is there is that famous statue of the 3 Vietnam veterans, and we are thinking about including that. A third thing that we absolutely will take into consideration is a memorial that we can add names to in case there is somebody left out, because we don't want to do that. So there will be a space available for that to be added at some point. It's very, very important to us that we are all inclusive and nobody gets left out. But the template that the Span Am and World War I Memorial and the World War II Memorial have is a nice standardized template, and we want to, in certain ways, sort of copy that as a comfortable design for what we're looking to attain.
When you were talking about the Vietnam, and we had 35 vets, and you said 4 had already passed away, 14 were in country.
That's correct.
Did we have any casualties at all in Vietnam itself?
We did not. We didn't lose anybody. We had a few that were injured. Steve Mega being my primary contact for this. Steve is very, very was very much involved with his fellow Hubbardston citizens. And one of the factors we want to take into consideration is, let's say somebody moved into town in 1980, but he or she is a World War II vet, a Vietnam veteran. We want to include them for sure. We absolutely do not want to exclude anybody. So we will be doing an outreach that will include using Hubbardston Cable. Tom Collier and I have already talked about that, using the reader board, using social media to make sure that we have the opportunity to include individuals based on that definition that we have for Vietnam era veteran, because you know, unofficially, and what I have in front of me thus far is it starts in 1955 and it goes through 1975, and there are certain criteria, but we want to be sure that we are all inclusive.
As I said, I support you totally, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sorry, I was muted. Anyone have any additional questions for Bill at this time? Seeing none. Bill, you got anything else for us?
Just a
No,
moment,
but-
please, Dan.
Okay.
Sorry, just a moment, please. We do have Edward Blanchard that did raise his hand. If you'd allow him to comment at this time, or if you want to wait until later.
No, hey, come on in, Ed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I think in answer to Jeff's question, this is a very strong committee, and I think we have a great expertise to be able to put this monument together and do it appropriately for Vietnam veterans. And that certainly we can submit before we move forward something to the select board. But I don't envision us going outside to look for design from outside sources other than the committee.
Okay, thanks. Okay, anything else, Bill? Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, is it okay if I stay on to listen to the nomination process and also the discussion of the approval regarding the location, the general location?
Of course.
Thank you.
We are gonna put you back as an attendee. In the event that we need you or you need to talk, please raise your hand. You do know how to do that?
Yeah, there's a button down below that I can raise my hand, right?
Okay, yes, there is.
Okay, cool.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll be talking about this in a few minutes. Okay, anyone else here for open session, as we're still in that? Aaron or David, has anyone indicated to you? I don't see any hands up, but has anyone indicated to you there's anything else we need to address in open session?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything for open session either.
All right. Okay, so we will move on. So Roman numeral 2 is general consent. We have meeting minutes from March 15th, which is our last meeting. There it is. She was ready for that. So you see him in front of you there. We saw him in our packets, assuming everyone was able to get in. We were all there, so that's where we're at.
I'll make a motion to accept the select board minutes of the March 15th, 2021 meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will go to a vote. Roll call. Dan, yes. Pat?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
And Chris?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Next item, we are on to announcements. So we have sort of a late edition here under announcements, and David, I don't know if you want to take it. I'm sure you do, but the first would be the reopening plan.
Right. So I've been getting a lot of questions from the staff and some from the public about when town offices and town facilities would be open to the public. The governor has moved the state to phase 4, step 1. There were only 4 phases in his recovery plan, so it looks like we're getting close to a time when more people will be vaccinated and COVID-19 won't be quite as much of a threat to public health as it once was. So I've put together the first draft of a reopening plan with procedures, policies, steps, and other guidance in order to keep the public safe, the staff safe, but reopen as much as possible and return to normal as much as possible. I've submitted this to the Board of Health, and they're going to take it under review in early April. So I think this is for information right now. If you have any feedback as to the plan, if you have questions about the plan, happy to take them. I'm not asking for a vote right now. I'm waiting for the Board of Health to feel like they've had a chance to review this.
I have a question, Dave. Just curious more than anything else. When would this include, for example, our situation where we no longer do Zoom, but are back in the building, and can roughly, where do you see that happening?
To the extent that things are going to return to normal, we would be in phase E. E as in Edward. And we're currently in phase B. B as in baseball. So we've got a number of steps to go through. I would expect that each step would take at least 3 weeks to be implemented so that we could understand how it's working for people, whether we're having problems, whether we didn't think of something and we need to tighten our game up. So just doing the math, I'm thinking we're probably looking at the late May, early June.
So we're looking at maybe April, May. Yeah. Okay. Just curious. Thank you.
Yep. So that's right there, that screen tells the story right there, that the governor's phases are 1 through 4, and we're in phase 4. And he's called his various phases start, cautious, vigilant, and new normal. We have 5 stages, A, B, through C, D, E, and we're at stage B.
And just one more time, sorry if you just said it and I didn't pay attention, but where is this available for the general public to look at? Or where will it be available?
The public would be able to meet with right now by appointment.
No, sorry, this plan,
I'm sorry, I'm not following the question.
the reopening plan, just to access it. Is there a link somewhere that they can access it?
Yes, we can set that up.
Okay, I think that'd be a good idea, maybe on the homepage for the Town of Hubbardston
Okay.
website.
All right, we'll work on that right away.
Okay, great. Okay, anyone have anything else for the reopening plan? Seeing none, okay, we will move on to the next announcement, which the next few, which will be Katie as usual. Frozen Assets is next.
Yes, frozen assets. It finally sank, thank God. I was getting tired of driving by that thing like 3-4 times a day. So it sank on March 19th at 2:08 and 26 seconds in the afternoon. And the first closest guess was none other than Dan's kid. Right there, that little sunshiny sitting next to him. With a guess of March 19th at 3:47 and 52 seconds. So good job and congrats.
Thank you.
Number 2 was Adelaide Mira with a guess of 3:18 at noon. And number 3 came in third, Colleen Higgins. She guessed 3:17 with a time of 8:15 and 19 seconds in the evening. And last but not least was Denise Kemet with a guess of 3:17 at 4 p.m. All of these dates, along with past dates of when it sank and everything, are all on the town website, so you can go see who won and whatever, and years past to get a guide of where it sank and everything. But I thank everyone for participating, and I also thank all the sponsors and everyone that came along for the ride. So Frozen Assets is officially done for this year, other than I have to do a little bit of work on the actual outhouse. It's kind of showing some wear of being outside, being submerged in water all weekend. So we're gonna have to give that some love over the summer. But updates for upcoming events, we have a lot going on in April. This Saturday, April 3rd at 11 a.m., we have the townwide Easter egg hunt. We're gonna have 3 fields like normal set up for kids. We have pre-K, kindergarten through 2nd, and then 3rd and above. It's at 11 a.m. We will have the Easter bunny there. We're going to do pictures around the bunny. We'll have the bunny sitting up on the bandstand steps, and people can kind of sit around the bunny and take pictures. But yeah, it'll be a good, nice opening to spring and kind of get people back out and start to mingle. On April 10th, there is a Boy Scout electronic recycling day. At 8 to noon at the rec field. There is on the Keep Hubbardston Beautiful website, there are prices and everything, but it is a very good fundraiser for the Boy Scouts, and it also helps you clean out your basement of all the trash that's been accumulating of broken crap. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. April 17th is Keep Hubbardston Beautiful Day. There will be a dumpster there, trash bags and things to pick up the side of the road. You can throw all the nip bottles and beer cans that magically appear out there, but nobody drinks and drives. It's appalling. Anyway, you throw all that stuff in the dumpster, and we'll also have the Girl Scouts will have a bottle and can drive from 8 to noon. So the beer cans that you didn't chuck out the window, you can bring them down to us. We will gladly recycle them for you. Hubbardston Fair is on June 12th. from 9 to 2. I am currently taking applications and I'm starting to hit up sponsors for that. So if you haven't heard from me yet, you will. But I am taking applications for booths. All the town entities and everything are always welcome. So maybe Bill would want to do something for the Vietnam Memorial. But anyway, just throwing it out there. Rain date is the 13th. The Dinghy Dash is August 28th at Brigham Pond, 10 a.m. So start thinking about your boat ideas and start getting your duct tape all loaded up, because that usually takes a while to build a boat. And then on field day, we have on September 18th, again, I am taking applications for that as well for booths, 9 to 3 at the rec field with a rain date of the 19th. So we have a pretty jam-packed couple of months, and the Lions and I are working on that, the field day and a couple other things. So hopefully we can get them. They're going to be coming on board, hopefully doing some stuff at the Hubbardston Fair as well. So it'll be a good day for everybody, both of those events. So other than that, I think that's all we got for right now. Just a little bit going on.
There is, and you know, the where the hell is Hubbardston thing is going to go away pretty soon with the Boston Globe and TNG with the light fight with Discovery Plus and Bill. You know, I forgot to mention that before, which was just awesome, right? You fighting with them about Western and Central Mass, that's just a riot, because I would do the same fight.
Yep. Hey, you know, I'm always going to hold on to that "Where the hell is Hubbardston" shirt. That is never going away.
All right.
When in doubt, I'll make the damn thing if I have to. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still a little miffed at Bill and Patrick for not inviting me to meet Josh Gates. I was chatting with Kelly and I'm like, why the hell wasn't I invited? Just to be a fly on the wall, for the love of God, really?
Glad I brought it up. Yeah, I'm glad I brought it up. Anyway, sounds good. Thanks very much for the update again. And I don't know, sounds great. A lot of momentum. Okay, well, I think that's it for updates there. I'm sorry, just getting back to the agenda, and we'll move on. So we got new business. The first one, we've got Lori, I see as an attendee. I'm sorry, first we have a hand up. Who has got their hand up? Bill is now out there. Please bring Bill in.
Okay. Yeah, besides Katie, I'm doing my very best to put Hubbardston back on the map. That was a very auspicious day that we spent with Josh Gates and Christopher Lloyd. And let me just say this, I knew better than inviting Katie.
Ah,
Hey, you know,
no, don't.
fun, okay? I make everything fun, so don't even go there.
Yeah, we had a blast, and they were both very, very accommodating, and we hope you all have the opportunity to at some point watch the miniseries, because once again we did our very best to put Hubbardston on the map again.
Excellent. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to new business. We've got Lori as a panelist now. Lori, if you want to unmute yourself here, and we've got what's called the presentation board and committee nomination papers. So where are we at?
So nomination papers are available as of today. There are quite a few different spots that are open right now. And on here it lists who is currently holding these terms under Board of Selectmen, which I do need to change because now you guys have officially changed your name to Hubbardston Select Board. There are 2 3-year terms. Papers were pulled by Jeff for the for running again. You know, that is public information. That is the only person that has pulled papers to date. Board of Assessors is currently held by Jeffrey Young. Planning Board by John Demalia Jr. Planning Board by Christopher Monroe. Board of Health, there are 2 spots, one held by Mrpc and Catherine Saab. Catherine Saab did advise me that she was not running again. I know that obviously things change, so I'm not saying she's completely out, but as of right now, I have heard back from her. Quabbin Regional School District, David Coria, I'm not sure if that's right, and William Hansen are up. Finance Committee is a 3-year term by Maria Tarigny. Cemetery Commission is another 3-year term that is being held by Pamela Henning as well. I've heard she's not running, but I haven't officially heard from her. Trustees of the public library, there'll be 2 spots, Tom Robinson and Connie Stripmatter. Housing Authority, this was one that was talked about, it was going to be a disbanded committee. It never was, so these are back on as a vacant board, except for there is currently Alfonso is serving on that board, and then Park Commissioner is Eric Gimboris. And some of these people did run last year, if they sound familiar, but what happened was they were filling the appointed terms. So, their term is only up until the next election. So that's why they might be running again. So there are a few returning people on the ballot again.
All right, well,
Oh,
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, well, I know Pat's got like 15 vehicles at home, so I don't think the fact that they wouldn't start up would have kept them away from getting them quite yet. So I guess we'll have to wait on that. But carry on, Lori.
Yeah, so we're waiting for Pat to call, but so like I said, they are by appointment right now. Obviously, we're still not open to the public. So you can always call me, you can email me, we can set up a time. I'm giving about 5 nomination papers away to people right now. Last year, I didn't, even with COVID in its highest peak, I really didn't get back more than 5. That way, in case people are worried about cross-contamination with papers and things like that. So I give 5. If they feel like they need more, that's fine. 20 signatures is what we require in order to be on the ballot. So we always say get a couple extra just in case, somebody thinks they're registered and they're not, and that does happen. So I kind of recommend at least like 25. So like I said, those are the terms. They are available at any time, and then they are due back by 5 p.m. on May 4th. And then obviously the election will be held June 8th, which is a Tuesday. It's an all-day affair, and town meeting will be held on the 1st, with location to be determined as, COVID continues.
All right, great. Thanks for that. Anyone have any questions about this for Lori?
I love questions.
All right. Well, I guess we know how the process goes, right? And we'll help Pat somehow.
We'll pick them up.
All right. Well, thanks, Lori.
Thank you. Take
All
care.
right. See ya. Okay. Next item is we're back to the Vietnam Memorial Committee. So the first item we have here is the actual appointment of the 7 candidates, and then the next one will be Vietnam Memorial placement. I know we've talked about it a little bit with Bill, or he talked about it a little bit, but I think, generally we can be general in this portion of it, just more of an item of support than anything when we get to that after the committee actual, but we can discuss it, at that point. But anyway, first one would be whether somebody wants to make a motion with the 7 candidates who I can read as Sarah Wyman, Steve Meager, Tom Copier, Bill Shea, Dolores Ordway, Ed Blanchard, and Bill Withicum would be the 7 that are up for the committee at this point.
I'll make a motion if you want to appoint the candidates to the Vietnam Memorial Committee as just presented.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Roll call. Dan, yes. Jeff?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
All right, it's unanimous. Thanks very much for putting that committee so quickly together and for volunteering. And the next item again is the Vietnam Memorial placement. So basically what the potential action or motion could say is the select board moves to approve the placing of a Vietnam memorial on town property by the Vietnam Memorial Commission, which seems appropriately and adequately vague enough for now.
I'll make that motion also if you want. Want me to read it again, although you've just read it?
Yeah, I think that's all set.
Okay. I move that to approve the placing of the Vietnam Memorial on town property by the Vietnam Memorial Commission.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Roll call. Dan, yes. Jeff?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Pat?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So thanks again, and they're off. So our next item, and I don't see any hands up there from Bill, so I guess we are good. Feel free to chime in at any point though, Bill, if for some reason if you couldn't do it. But our next item moving along is we've got Travis here. If we could make him a panelist here for the presentation of the 5-year road plan. Oh, wait, sorry, Bill has his hands up. Before we go to that, sorry, Trav, can we go to Bill?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just like to say thank you very much, and you can count on us doing a good job and continuing the line of communications with the town and the selectmen.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good night.
I'll sign off now.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, again, so we're up to Travis here and the 5-year road plan. Do we have, we can make Travis a panelist, Aaron.
So Ryan and Travis have been working on a 5-year road plan. I think this is the 3rd or 4th year that the 5-year road plan has been presented to the select board. And the intent of the plan is to map out for the next couple of fiscal cycles the deployment of scarce municipal resources in the form of money mainly, to address long-standing problems with the condition of roads in the town of Hubbardston. So you got to have a plan, and this is what Ryan and Travis have put together, and it's in my way of looking at things, it's a very well thought out and very responsible plan that will maximize scarce resources for the best good. So the purpose of the report is to inform town officials and residents of the road maintenance plan for the next 5 fiscal years. We aggressively seek federal and state money in order to supplement money that's raised locally or diverted locally for taking care of the roads and culverts. We receive what's called Chapter 90 money. That's money from the state that's bonded every year to manage 87 miles of town roads. We received $354,000 of Chapter 90 money from the state for road repairs based upon a $200 million annual bond. And that's about a third of what we need. That annual bond should be $600 million. And it'd be nice if we had a multi-year bond so that we could plan a little bit more effectively. The goal of the comprehensive road maintenance plan is to maximize limited resources through cost-effective pavement management. And we've a policy of using Chapter 90 funds for road maintenance only, and Chapter 90 funds could be used for a number of purposes that are associated with road maintenance, but don't actually address roads itself. So salt sheds are acceptable. Equipment for snow plowing is acceptable. We don't do this here in the town of Hubbardston. We dedicate this money strictly for road maintenance. The projects are clustered in order to save money on mobilization when we bid the paving projects, and this results in the maximum use of dollars for the maximum effect on road upgrades. Some people may say, hey, my road is worse off than the ones you're working on, but we can't cover all the bases, and what bases we have to cover, we have to make the dollars stretch as much as possible. So we have to make this clustered approach in order to be effective. And we keep a reserve of Chapter 90 money every year. Travis, do you know how much that is? I don't hear Travis, so I'm just going to go on. Our state-funded maintenance, the town center project was $4.3 million, estimated for fiscal year 2024. The STRAP grant for High Street, $1 million in next summer, not this one, but next summer. and the STRAP grant for $750,000 for New Templeton and Williamstown roads. And we're looking for other opportunities for work on culverts and ditches and maintenance of right-of-ways.
Just to jump in real quick.
Yep.
I think, David, just to jump in real quick, I think I see that Travis did unmute himself. So Travis, you there?
Yep, I found it.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right, we're good.
Last year, we had 100,000 that we have had in there, and that's when I had asked the board, when Ryan and I had talked to use it to do some road maintenance other than reconstruction work to the roads to hold together while we're able to get to these other ones that really need reconstruction. So last year, just under 70,000. Then we had saved on the road plan that we had, so which went into this year, and I get about another just over 70,000 in it this year, which I have a plan for road maintenance this year along to go with the paving project for this year also.
And when you say saved, you mean the bids came in lower than what we were expecting?
Correct.
As far as I know we know, but if you could just sort of just briefly sort of restate what that process is, which I know you did your first implementation last year of it, but if you could sort of go into that and your opinion on how it's held up.
We use a rejuvenator on the road. It actually will sink into the pavement just about 1/4 of an inch. What it's doing is bringing the emulsions back into the pavement, which is falling apart, which starts to ravel, which begins to have pits where the aggregate is leaving the asphalt itself. So in the midst of all that, we add the emulsion back, and then we add a sand stone chip mix on top of it to fill all the voids, which actually gives it another wearing surface. And you give it, depending on the traffic on the road, anywhere from 5 to 7 years of an extension on the road surface from deteriorating.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, we got some questions last year on what was going on with all the sand on the road, and you know that answered it. And I think the results, which you said before, but you were happy with that first year, which is why you're obviously carrying on with that in this next year.
Yes, I mean, I took pictures of before and after, and you can really see the difference. And you can tell the difference just driving over the road from coming where a section isn't done to a section that was done. It's like it sounds just like a freshly paved road.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Right, so Route 68 reconstruction project is a 3-phase project. It's the main road through town. Phase 1 was from the Rutland line to Brigham Street. That's been completed. The other part, phase 2 was from Curtis Field to the Gardner line. That's been completed, and we are working on implementing phase 3, which would be from Brigham Street to the Curtis Recreation Field. So just the next couple of slides summarize what we have done. And the Town Center project phase 3, we're estimating a start of summer 2023.
It's 22.
Sorry?
It's 100% 22 now.
Yeah, 100% done now in terms of design. Possibly we could do it in summer 2022. The funding is from the State Transportation Improvement Program, and it will be a full service project to include road work, sidewalks, multi-use lanes, and additional signage and improved drainage. And I think there's some calming, traffic calming features with that project as well. The next slide shows that we're working on strapped grants. These are grants that are targeted for small towns. We apply for MassWorks strap grants. And we use that to supplement what we can do with our Chapter 90 money. We're applying for a $1 million grant to reconstruct High Street. I've driven that street and it really needs a lot of work. Potential future strap grant targets include New Templeton Road and Williamsville Road. And these grants represent 1 to 3 years worth of Chapter 90 money. So it's a very important state funding resource. A couple of photographs of High Street, just to show the condition of the road. I think those photographs probably make it look better than what I observed when I was there. Chapter 90 road maintenance plan was for over 5 years. It gives people an idea of what we're trying to do and when that's going to happen. It assumes that we have a current level funding of Chapter 90 money, and it assumes the introduction of annual capital as well. And again, projects are grouped in order to limit paving mobilization costs and make more attractive projects for potential bidders. Our completed at FY21 Chapter 90 plan, total paving projects 2.28 miles, 431,742.17, and Flag Road, Hale Road Extension, Williamsville Road, Mount Jefferson Road, and the other Mount Jefferson Road, I guess. We liked it so much we named it twice. Flag Road, Hale Road Extension, Mount Jefferson, and Williamsville Road paving projects provided much needed resurfacing and maintenance to one or more of the troubled surfaces in the town. And the total feet paved cost $431,000 and change. Total feet restored maintenance to 23,654 feet for a cost of $70,000. And total project cost is $502,000.
If I can just interrupt there on that,
Yeah.
that last one, just to show you the difference from reconstruction to maintenance, that we've done about 2.25 for $431,000, and we've done almost 4.5 miles for $70,000. So it's trying to show people that we need to do the restorative, not just reconstructive, in order to get ahead. Otherwise, we'll just never get ahead.
And there's a map showing the project area. Moving on. Road maintenance. Travis, do you want to speak to this slide?
Templeton, yes. So the new Templeton Road, we did a section of it from 68 to just past the first pond. Hale Road, we did the whole road. Hillville Road, we did the whole road. Old Princeton, we did some sections because we only had so much money, but we're going to do the rest of it this year. And that was the newer section that we had just done probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So it shows you just around 5 years, the way the pavement is now, it just starts, you have to do something to it. It starts to fall apart.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I want
Sure.
to talk about restorative and reconstruction a little bit on the previous slide. When you do restorative, is that just a temporary Band-Aid for future reconstruction down the road? Or is that something that's permanent that'll prevent that part of the road needing to be reconstructed?
There's no total permanent restorative you could do to anything. We're in the worst environment for pavement. So by doing the maintenance to the road, you're able to prolong the deterioration of the pavement. What's happened is that as time has gone now, what they're doing to be environmentally safe, they take all the emulsion out of the pavement. So what used to last could be 8-10 years is now only lasting 5. So in order to maintain and keep the road together for a longer time, you do maintenance to it between crack sealing, the rejuvenator, all these types of things to keep the pavement that is good in good standing for longer periods so you can move forward. There will be a time where you're either going to have to overlay it, most likely, and then worst comes to worst, you would have to reconstruct it if it had too much deterioration.
Yeah, just to sort of further that, that restorative maintenance is not done on a road that hasn't been reconstructed. So all those roads we've done restorative maintenance, we've recently-ish reconstructed to try to extend when we have to reconstruct them again, right? Is that accurate?
Correct. I mean, a lot of them like Hillville, Hale Road, Ragged Hill, which I want to do this year, those are all on the bond that we're still paying on.
Right.
So they're falling apart, they're raveling in a lot of areas, and we need to stop that from going any further before we get worse. I mean, these winters, the way they are beating up really good roads. So for something like that, and being that we have a money crunch in town, we got to do what we can with what we can to keep it here for as long as we can.
So restorative is not the solution for these roads in town that are in need of reconstruction.
Right. You wouldn't put it on a road that is all alligatored and cracked and potholes everywhere. You would not do that to that. This is to hold a road that's probably about 5, maybe 6 years old. You could do it earlier, but obviously we don't have that type of money in town, but you would do it in order to hold roads together and keep the longevity out of the pavement and taxpayers' money.
Okay, I got it. Very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so the proposed Chapter 90 plan for FY22 includes Williamsville Road, estimated 300,000 to reclaim and pave 4 inches of hot mix asphalt with a berm tack coat from Cruise Road to the bridge at pole number 149, and some basin work is associated with that. Road maintenance of 4.2 miles, estimated to be $62.3 thousand. Restorative treatments with seal and sand mix, extend road's life by 5 to 7 years, just as Travis just mentioned. Cross Street, New Templeton Road, Ragged Hill Road, Old Princeton Road, and George Howard Road. And then in blue, we have 2 roads if we have extra money, Simons Hill Road and Ed Clark Road. So that if we get a lucky bid or if we get additional Chapter 90 money, we can see if we can address those as well.
If I could jump in there for a minute.
Yeah.
On the road maintenance, it is estimated at 73. We had gone a little extra on Old Princeton that we needed to do, and on Ragged Hill. The Simon Hill Road and Ed Clark didn't happen. That's why it was in blue, and which is out there to know that if we did not get the 100,000 from the town, that we wouldn't be able to do it. So that's why just Williamsville Road is being done this year.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, we went.
Okay. So the next slide shows the map of the proposed 22 outlay. Moving on, FY23 Chapter 90 plan, Thompson Road, estimated $237,000 to reclaim and pave with 3 inches of hot mix asphalt and add a berm. Cruise Road, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, Cruise Road, estimated $204,000 to reclaim and pave with 2 inches of hot mix asphalt, adding a berm, and then if we have money available, Route Road as well.
Can I jump in there for 1 sec?
Sure.
So now, if you've looked at last year's proposed plan, we moved this one to 23 because we're having the bridge on Williamsville, on the Burnshirt River. That's gonna be done under the STRAP grant. And this is the detour road. So we would like to have it done for when they're gonna do the bridge. So that's why we put this here, and we moved Elm Street and Barry Road, all that to 24 when I believe we moved that to 24 to fit in like with Main Street and everything, tie it in.
All right. Here's a map of the proposed project and photographs of Thompson Road and Cruz Road. The proposed Chapter 90 plan for FY24 includes Elm Street at 100,000, Brigham Street 193,000, another part of Brigham Street at 50,000, and again, if there's money left over, Barry Road and Barry Road Cutoff and Parsons Road. And the next slide shows the map of those projects. And current conditions are shown in the slide. FY25 Chapter 90 plan, Pitcherville Road, Birches Road, Pitcherville for 231,000, Birches Road for 94,000. And then if there's money left over, Cross Road and Ragged Hill Road again. Next slide shows the map of the project. With pictures. And then the proposed FY26 Chapter 90 plan, Dogwood Road North, Laurel Road Street, and Geordie Lane. And if there's money left over, Simons Hill Road and Ed Clark Road. We don't have money estimates for this because it's too far out to estimate what those costs may be. And then there's a map of the project area. Current conditions in the photographs. And then beyond to 2026, we have to be looking at Bickford Road, 10 Honto, Forest, Brookside Drive, Dogwood South with Basins, Old Princeton Road Cutoff, Old Princeton Road, Ed Clark Road, and Simons Hill Road. Not in any particular order of priority there. Dirt road grading goes on constantly, pothole repair, crack sealing, line painting. Travis, do you want to amplify on those?
This year, the line painting, the potholes, we're using our hot box, and we got one more load of the stuff of the hot mix we had put for the winter time to put in. But the plants should be open in here pretty soon, so we'll be able to drive down and put some in and fill them in to get a more permanent seal. I'm looking into a pothole repair that one of the companies has, and some DPWs are using it, and it's a permanent patch, and we can pile it in the same style pile that we have with the cold patch, and we're able to either use it cold or we could put it in the hot box itself all year round. So in other words, I would use that and not buy any more cold patch, and we'd be using a permanent patch, which, and then we wouldn't have to go to the hot mix plant and break up chunks and put them on skids for the winter time. So there's some things in the works.
Final considerations. All right, so we have a lot of work to do on Hubbardston's Road. So everything needs something, nothing needs nothing. Some things need everything. We have limited resources by which to address these unlimited needs. So we need to pool our efforts as much as possible to make the best use of the taxpayers' money and state money and grant money and federal money in order to bundle projects together, leverage outside sources of funding, and get the best bang out of our bucks as we possibly can. Part of that is bundling projects together that are connected so that we get better bid results and we can minimize mobilization costs. And then we need to update our annual comprehensive road plan in order to take into account changing conditions and shifting priorities, and take advantage of opportunities for funding sources that we haven't talked about now. Are there any questions?
Yeah, well, I just want to say, it's going to be one of our most well-attended meetings was pre-pandemic road, maintenance plan presentation 2 years ago, I guess is what it would be now. So I'm going to looking forward to when we can do that again, because I know everyone's really interested in putting their comments out there on what decisions are made, for what priority to make things, even though I think we make our case best we can, and through Travis's recommendations, but still, people want to have their voice heard on it, and it's just hard to do in this way. So, I look forward to being able to have that dialogue, again, and hopefully the near future. Okay, Trav, you got anything else or David on this, or anyone have any questions for them?
I just have, we have bid openings Wednesday for the Williamsville Road project, so hopefully they come in well there. What I have for the road maintenance is this year is New Templeton Road from Cross Road to the Templeton line. I have Cross Road from New Templeton Road to Rolling Woods. I have Ragged Hill, the entire road up to Birches. Old Princeton Road is the newer section. That's from Hillville Road to George Howard. George Howard Road is up until the tracks from Old Princeton. There's quite a bit of area right there, which is 4.85 miles, almost 5 miles of road. That's why it's 73,000, which is really not much from when we're doing maybe a mile of road, and it's going to cost somewhere around $350,000.
Hey, so what are we thinking about Lombard? I mean, we tried a couple times in vain to get that, strap grant, because it's such a long road. And I trust me, I know we've had many conversations about Lombard in the past, and we're unsuccessful mostly because they changed the program and made it harder for us, the size we are of a town, to get it, and based on what their opinion of that road is in the importance of, the realm of importance. So setting it up like that, what are the plans for Lombard in the future, that you see?
I know we're going back and forth with TEC, and when we have applied for the past couple of years for Lombard Road, taking what they're looking for into aspect, there is building going on down there, and we're hoping to, somehow catch their eye and move forward. I mean, we've applied twice, and I think if we keep pecking at it, we might get it. It is a very expensive road. I mean, if not, I mean, obviously we'll definitely have to, do a piece at a time.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks, Travis, and David, and I guess good luck with everything, and I guess let us know how the bids go.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you, Travis.
Okay, moving on, is the next item is the phone upgrade. So this is in regards to upgrading with TPX Communications, the telephone system. So is there anything you want to tell us about this, David?
This is a project that has been ongoing for a while. The upgrade to the phone will result in better service, lowered costs, voice over internet protocol. We have a letter of agreement with TPX Communications. And if I could get the green light to sign that letter of agreement, that would be great.
Okay, well, is there a motion for that?
Make a motion if you want. All right. Move to have the acting town administrator sign the letter of agreement with TPX Communications upgrading the telephone system.
I'll second that.
Seconded, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll vote, roll call. Dan, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, unanimous. Next item, item 9 there is an update on the laser fiche and copier. What do we need to know?
Aaron, you've been working on this.
Yes, so for the copier and the laser fiche, what it is that the laser fiche is the scanning of the 60,000 documents that we can put in. That was grant funded. That's something that Ryan had been working on previously. And when we get to really close of the end of actually beginning this project, we realized that the copier that we had is just not going to be able to work with the thought of moving forward. All documents are going to be scanned in rather than having paper copies and all of that. So we really needed to upgrade the copier. We were able to get a good deal, and unfortunately Ryan wasn't able to sign it before he left. So it is just kind of an update of we're at the end. David will be able to sign this now so that we can officially get everything moving forward.
Okay. All right, thank you for the update. Next item is we've got an update for the Mrpc grant for the Town Center Overlay Business Zoning Bylaw.
So as I understand that this is a Regional Planning Commission grant for reviewing the business zoning bylaws for the town of Hubbardston. The senior planner will be reaching out, and I'm sure that senior planning is working with the Hubbardston Planning Board. So things are beginning to move on that project.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you. Next item is for discussion and potential action here, which is the Country Hen Scholarship, the annual scholarship by a joint fund originally made by the Country Hen and George Bass matching to put a certain amount of money, which was 30,000, into the bank, and then annual scholarship based on how that money does in the bank. So we've talked about this a little bit. We're going to keep the members of the scholarship application committee the same. And as you see, Erin is scrolling us through a very easy to fill out, lazy kids of a new age. Did I say that? And hopefully we get a number of applications. It almost feels like every year we have to extend it a little bit, and then all of a sudden that sort of a flood gets in when parents start saying strongly that yes, you need to apply. But hopefully we don't have to do that. But as it stands right now, the submissions, if we vote to open it up tonight, would be closed on April 30th. So we can put it up to sort of begin accepting applications.
Dan, if I might add or question whether Aaron contacted you, or Aaron, did you get my answer to your question that you had posed to us? People were curious as to who exactly is eligible. And I said it was my understanding, because I've been on the committee since I was a board member, that it's for Hubbardston residents seniors who are graduating. It doesn't mean that they have to be all like at Quabbin. Is that your understanding also, Dan?
Yeah, it's right there. Aaron, go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, so I had reached out to the select board. The incident that occurred was that I had a couple different residents. The way that it was worded, they were questioning because it said that they could be current college or university students. And that's why I wanted to get the definite answer on what exactly it is that the thought was behind this when it was originally set up. Because when I looked back through the paperwork, we actually had two different versions. Original from 2012 was focusing on just those that were graduating from high school versus what they had agreed upon in 2013 was that they could actually be in college. So that's where I wanted to not exclude anyone that might have been eligible. So once we figured out that it was just for high school, those that were graduating their high school time, we then ran into the question of, what about those that might have already attended some college classes if they were dual enrollment or homeschooled, as well as those that might be at the vocational, independent, or charter schools, because any of them could also have college background as well, which is what brought up this whole question right here as to what type of high school did you attend? And then it's up to those on the committee to decide what it is they like or what exactly it is that they're looking.
Okay, thanks for fleshing all that out. Does that satisfy your question, Jeff?
Yes, my question was that if she got my answer to her question, and then, because I had also said for her to check with you to see if you agree with me on what way I remembered things.
Oh, I don't know. When people ask me questions,
That's fine.
I just asked another question back. So it looks like it, but anyway, it was confusing. It feels like to me, and one other note that's actually on the application, you have had to live in Hubbardston for 3 years. So graduating senior from one of these, I know I'm pointing to a screen, but from one of those ways, but then the third, yeah. So residing for at least 3 years. You know, it feels like we've nailed it down clearly now. So thanks, Aaron.
Okay. So are we ready for a motion?
Yep.
I'll make the motion that the town begin accepting applications for the Country Hen Scholarship with submissions set to close 30 April 2021.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Dan, yes. Roll call. Dan, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's unanimous. We've got some old business now. It's the update of the center school roof funding. So
Where
Dave,
can-
you want to let us know the latest?
Okay, so the latest and greatest on the school roof project is the special act of legislation. Senate number 24 has advanced. It's gone from the Joint Committee on Election Laws to the Senate Committee on the Bills in the third reading, which is a legal review. This is a very straightforward piece of legislation. I don't anticipate any legal problems to arise. And then it'll be advanced to the Senate for a vote. And at that point, we should be within days of getting the governor to sign the bill. So this is very good news indeed. I've reached out and kept the project engineer and OPM and the school member of the school committee who's working with this project. I've let them know about this, as well as our financial people as well. We were going to post the bid in Combis and Central Register this week. At the last minute, there was a redesign for a portion of the project. So the OPM has asked us to wait a week before we post this for bidding. But we're at that stage.
Yep, just to give a quick update on that, it across the industry, prices are going up unbelievably. And as everybody's probably heard, housing has been incredible. And it's not just you know, the fact that there aren't a lot of houses available, but new construction. So this is part of that because it has to do with the type of roof. So we've got metal roofing in a lot of places proposed that may go up by hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time this goes. So there's going to be an alternate. Part of this redesign is for regular conventional shingles, just in case, right? And we put the whole thing out for bid and it's over the amount that we can afford, that we, the portion we're paying through the vote at town meeting, we need to have it out. Even though we hope it doesn't happen, we need to have it out to be able to go to a deduct alternate, which would be going to these shingles. So it's a good recommendation by our owners project managers / construction managers / architects who are reading what's going on in the industry and saying, hey, I think you guys need to have this option in there, and that's why it's delayed a little bit. Okay, anything else on that, David? Because if there's not, then you're up again at the town administrator's report if you have anything for us.
Well,
If I
we
could
put the-
interrupt first,
Sure.
we did have Chris, he had his hand raised. I just want to make sure that we go back to him before we get any further into the meeting.
Oh, sorry.
I wanted to ask about the Country Hen Scholarship and where it could be accessible to be filled out electronically.
I will be able to post that both on the town website as well as advertise it on the social media. It is something that I hope that the other town social media sites grab as well as the scholarship committee, so that everyone knows about that. I'm not sure, is the Country Hen Scholarship something that you put out to the schools so
It
that
is.
they tell the students?
Yep. If you could
Okay,
do that,
all right.
thanks for
Okay.
asking that, Chris. But yeah, if you could send that to probably Jess Bennett. I don't know if you know Jess or if you've met her yet. You know, I know it's all meeting online and stuff. But if you need information to get it to her and or copy me or whatever, or copy one of us, you know, that's something that we do every year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, I have some old business. Could I bring something up?
Yeah, hold on one sec. Yeah, we are there. Sorry, I was just making sure. Yeah, of course.
Back in December, Alice sent an email to Ryan from the planning board, obviously, regarding zoning enforcement on 248 Gardner Road. Do you recall that?
Yep.
Where do we stand with that? Because nothing seems to have changed down there. I've been getting complaints from that. So I actually reached out to the planning board and they said that this was an issue. They said Roland said there was no bylaw pertaining to that, which there is. I just want to know where that stands and what actions we can take to kind of control that. There's no point in having bylaws if we're not going to enforce them.
Yeah, understood. I mean, I don't know. I haven't
Go
had
over
any
those.
correspondence on it. I don't know. I know Francois is a participant here. I don't know if he has any info. He can always raise his hand or not if he's got on it, but it's something we can follow up with, you know, following this meeting to find out what's up. I haven't heard anything.
I think Francois just raised his hand.
All right. Okay, I think you are unmuted, Francois.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great point. And thank you for bringing this up, Pat. I do know that this was brought up to members of the planning board in the past, and at the same time, that prompted the planning board to submit a letter to Ryan. I think that it kind of dropped because of the fact that there was this email, I think, exchange that took place again in mid-December, wherein Roland at that point in time indicated that there was no bylaw restricting the total number of unregistered vehicles in that lot. And I believe that at that point in time, he may not have been familiar with the bylaw at hand. There is actually a very specific bylaw that on the general bylaws, which is chapter 17, which is the storage of unused motor vehicles, so which says basically no person except the holder of license granted under section 58 of chapter 140 of the general laws, or a junk dealer duly licensed under the town bylaws that is issued by the Board of Selectmen, that they can then keep and permit to keep exposed in such premises more than one unused or unregistered motor vehicle. And there's some additional information to that effect. I think that at this point in time, Roland, not knowing this here, kind of stopped the process, but I think it's a good time to reinitiate it. Make sure that Roland is aware of the bylaw. And so therefore, as a zoning enforcement officer, he should be able to take that to the next step.
Okay. Anything else on that, Pat, or does that sort of satisfy you, sort of rekindling it?
Yeah, no, I think it needs to be rekindled, and maybe, I don't know, who would send the letter to Roland to look into it and address the situation there. Would we send that?
Yeah, we absolutely can. Doesn't take much.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. All right, so just so it doesn't fall through the cracks, David, would you put that on your list of things for you and Aaron to very simple, draft up a letter to
Yeah,
address?
be happy to do that, and I'll familiarize myself with the property so that I get a firsthand understanding of the conditions there. That's 248 Gardner Road. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
All right, I'll take a look at it.
Thank you. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Okay, anything else from old business from anybody? No, okay. Now to the TA report or anything you have for us, David?
Doing a lot of project management right now, a lot of preparing the bids for various services and projects. I'll just touch on a couple of things. Just received news today that the municipal vulnerability preparedness grant applications are now open. And we have High Street, I believe, we have culvert replacement plans that we intend to apply for, and that application is due on May 7th. The Evergreen Bridge project is moving forward. Senator Goby has filed special act of legislation, ST 1719, to allow the Commonwealth to grant the town of Hubbardston certain easements associated with the future repairs of the bridge over Mason Brook. We had a Economic Development Committee meeting last week. I thought that was very well thought through and well attended, and we had about 40 questions that we needed to field. Questions that were very specific and very general, covering all sorts of topics having to do with economic development in the town of Hubbardston. I was impressed by people's knowledge and curiosity about what we can do to increase business in town.
If I may interrupt, I do apologize. I unfortunately do not have the charger for this computer. It is the one from the office, and my battery is running very low. I am going to make David the host just in case it does happen to kick me off. I do apologize for that. Give me just a moment to find him and make him the host just in case.
Okay. Tomorrow night, there's going to be a meeting of the Public Safety Community Center Complex Committee. I intend to attend it. They intend to make a presentation at the annual town meeting. And I should be getting an update on our revenue and expenditure situation. I still think we're in pretty good shape. And that's about it for right now without getting into a whole lot of detail.
All right. That's great. And just so I don't think we've talked about it really, but so David and I have set up a call, on Friday mornings to just sort of go over any items or any updates or whatnot that may need full board involvement or whatever else. So we've only had 2 so far, and it's Good Friday this week, so it probably wouldn't happen. But just sort of letting everybody know that. So if there's anything that ever comes up outside of our meetings or whatnot, it may come up during those sorts of things, and I will contact the board to to get some guidance on that. So just saying that out loud. So moving on. Thanks, David. We don't have any policies to review, I see. One item on here, Aaron, if you're still there, I don't see, not that I have one, but town committee updates. That is something we like to have on our agenda, so that when we do have them, we have an item to go to it and can say that we can obviously go to it through some other mechanisms, but that seems to be somewhat of the easiest way to do it.
Sure, I will add that back in.
All right, thank you. So next item is matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair. I don't have any. Is there anything anyone else wants to bring up here?
Yeah, I want to bring up the bandstand roof. Dan, you just talked about it for the school roof, right? But this is on a more micro level. I think we allocated $12,000 for that project, and material costs and labor costs have all gone up over the past year. And the bid we're getting back from the company is $15,750. So it's $3,750 more than their bid, which was about a year or a year and a half ago. So I think we need to start thinking about how we can come up with that delta and make this project happen here in the spring.
Which project is this?
It's still being worked. The powers that be, Parks Committee, and a volunteer from town are looking into renegotiating that contract and trying to get the cost down. But I just want to put a heads up out there that it is probably going to come in over the previously anticipated budget.
David, that was the bandstand that's at the rec field.
Oh, yeah, bandstand, yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, so I guess the action item for us is to, and if you could look into it, David, to look at what available additional funds we might have to be able to come up with a greater amount than we've already authorized, whether that's from whatever, we've got 3 or 4 options that would likely be able to come from. And if it's a couple $1,000, hopefully it's something we can come up with.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Anything else from anyone?
Could I just ask Chris a quick question on that in terms of what he knows or doesn't know? How solid is that figure of 15,000? I mean, could that even go higher? Or what's your understanding?
$15,750 is an actual bid in writing that we could accept tomorrow if we had the funds to do it.
Thanks.
Chris, how long is that bid good till? Is there a date on that?
I will find out. I do not know that.
All right, just wondering.
I have a copy of the bid. I can forward it to Erin if that's okay.
Sure.
And she can distribute it. I don't know if that's going to violate anything we shouldn't be doing, but
It's all good.
I'm just curious because I know materials like on a weekly basis in my business, you can't predict anything. It's crazy right now.
Right.
Predict or get anything.
That's true.
All right. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Anything else from anyone else? No. Okay, so next is public press question and answer. I did see one that was up. Aaron, you want to put that back up? Is that the only one we've got?
It is the only one. I would have to have David share the screen. He has control right now. But what it was is that it was a Facebook comment from Kathy Hurley, and she had put out the question, has Hubbardston considered solar on any town buildings? And has the town considered this as a code for new construction, or have other towns and states?
So yes. So I don't know all of this, and you're going to have to believe 50% of what I say as I'm recalling the conversations we've had in the past. And we can get more concrete information on this, but we have talked about it several times. There have been some roadblocks. Some of it has to do with how we get funding for things. Like, for example, yes, the school is our building, but if we did something like that, like put it on the school, we wouldn't be all of the funds for grants and other sort of contributions wouldn't be available to us for some reason. Just, I'm sure you all know that there can be reasons for things like that. So, and again, this is not a comprehensive list, but that was one of the items that was out there, is that we were not able to do that. We have talked about it, and maybe it's a good conversation to have it again. Technologies have probably gotten better, and maybe regulations have changed for all I know. But yes, we have definitely talked about it. And the second half of that has to do with, could you read the second half again? I already forgot.
Sure. That was also to do with construction. They wanted to know if it was going to be made into something that all new construction has to have solar panels as well. This is similar to other towns and states.
Yeah, see, I don't know about that, and I'm not questioning if that's correct or not, but I'd be surprised, I guess, to hear that. We have, we've talked about it before, the stretch energy code. That is something that we have adopted that is pretty specific on what you can't do as far as complying with, building codes for a green community, which we are. So, maybe if something came along and we felt it was something it would make sense for us to adopt, we would. There was a fair amount of opposition even to the stretch energy code because it's more expensive to build, even though you might save money, on other costs in the future. It is harder when it was happening for builders to sell it because they didn't feel like they were getting the bang for their buck with the amount of insulation and other things you had to do in there. So yep, these are things that we've talked about and looked into, and I'm glad people are asking about it because they, just because we've looked into it once doesn't mean we shouldn't look into it again. So if anyone has anything else they want to add to that, that's just my recollection of previous years. Okay. Okay. Well, public press question and answer. Anything else on that, Aaron, or anyone else with their hand raised as attendees or something we should know about?
Looks like Aaron's battery died.
All right. Well, that is the sign. She must have something on at 8 she wanted to go watch, and I can say that because she's gone. All right. So we've reached the end of our meeting.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
That is seconded, non-debatable, and we will go to a vote, and that will be roll call. Dan, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. Night, everyone.